Welcome back. This is the second day of 10 days of live videos answering your questions. So thank you, first of all, to the person who left a comment asking about today's topic, which is how to increase your testosterone naturally and how to know if you have a low testosterone. So this is a really common topic, but before we get into it, if I could just ask if you could please smash the like button. It will really help me out and it will help this video reach more people. So getting right into it, how do you know if you've got low testosterone? The only way to really know is to have blood tests. In the UK, it's very difficult to get testosterone replacement therapy or even a blood test to find out if you have low testosterone. So most people go based on how they feel. So if they're feeling low in energy, if they're finding that they're gaining a lot of fat in the midsection, and if they find that they have low libido, if they're having erectile dysfunctions, that type of thing, then they may go to their GP. But it's unlikely that they'll get a test done. So in the US, it's quite common to go privately, and there's a couple of markers as well as estrogen and free testosterone that you're looking at when you have a testosterone test, and then they look at your numbers and see how different lifestyle factors impact them. So firstly, if you want to know, then you have to get tested. And if you get tested, then make sure you get tested properly. And I'll put in the comment box below the different types of tests that you need, or the things that the test has to include in order for it to give you an accurate picture, because it's not just about free testosterone. So that's the first thing. If you have symptoms, then it's worth pursuing that, any of the symptoms I mentioned. The next thing is, does testosterone decrease with age? It does decrease with age. It's about 0.6 to around 1.5 points per year after the age of 30. So it's people probably later 30s, around, not my age, but a little bit older than me, would often consider testosterone replacement therapy. It's big in the States, it's probably big in other areas in Europe as well. It's not so big in the UK. So people who are doing testosterone are most likely just guessing and just injecting themselves. They're not doing it under medical supervision. So that's not something I would recommend. The next thing is, that's a bit of the basics. The next thing about testosterone is how can you improve your testosterone naturally? So the first thing I'd recommend is cover the basic things. So the most important thing is probably sleep, because it's not just about testosterone, as I said, it's about testosterone, it's about the androgen around human growth hormones. So there's lots of different factors that affect the reasons why somebody might want to get their testosterone tested. So in order to, human growth hormone, 95% of it is secreted in deep sleep. And most of your sleep is going to be light sleep. Then you'll go into, if you sleep well, into a cycle of, which is really about 25% of your total sleep time, is your deep sleep. And that's when your human growth hormone is secreted. So if you're not getting into deep sleep, if you're not sleeping enough, if the quality of your sleep isn't good, that's probably the first thing that you need to improve on. The second thing that I'd recommend is intermittent fasting. Full-time CrossFit champion and his whole crew, Dan Bailey, and they all do intermittent fasting, and they've done blood tests pre and post, and they found that they've had a massive boost from intermittent fasting. So that's something to consider, and it may be, again, affecting androgen receptors as opposed to just affecting free testosterone. The next thing, which you probably hear about, is kind of different types of training. So people say lift heavy, lift compound movements like deadlifts and squats, and that helps with testosterone. And lifting heavy does help, and the powerlifting style of lifting, so lifting and then resting for a long period of time and then lifting again, seems to be the best for working on androgen receptors, and as I mentioned earlier, not the CrossFit kind where you just go from one to the other and you're just kind of killing yourself. It's a combination of cardio and strength training. What tends to work best with testosterone in terms of training is to do lift heavy and then have breaks in between. Other types of training that may impact are HIIT training, which is high intensity interval training, and it's 6 seconds, so not 30 seconds all out and then 30-second rest. It's 6 seconds all out and then quite a long 1, 2, 3 minute rest, and then 6 seconds again. So it's very short bursts, and you're looking at 5 to 10 sets of that. So that's the kind of protocol that they've done some small scale studies on in terms of increasing testosterone through HIIT training. And the last thing in relation to training is around cardio. So you need to reduce the amount of cardio you're doing. If you're doing Ironman, marathons, that kind of stuff, if you have your testosterone tested and you know somebody who has done that, who has done a lot of Ironman, you'll know that their testosterone will chronically be low because of the amount of 3-4 hours of training that they're doing a day. It's just too much for the body to. It's not going to reproduce, it's not going to work on your fertility if your body is constantly in a sympathetic fight or flight state. So 3 key things to work on, the basics before anyone considering like hormone replacement therapy, is the sleep. You got to get the fundamentals down. The next thing is intermittent fasting, and the last thing is the types of training that you're doing. So cutting down on cardio, focusing more on lifting heavy. So hopefully that helps. Let me know what you want to see in tomorrow's live chat. Please leave a comment in the comments box below. Very much appreciate it, and it will give me content for the next video. Thank you. Have a great evening.